This is probably the most basic example of endgame theory. When you want to learn about endgames, this might be the first place you start here. Depending on where you move here, this is either a win or a draw, right? Black can't win because black doesn't have any pieces, right? But they can draw if they stalemate you or like keep your pawn from promoting, right? Let's say I push this pawn. A newbie player might do that, right? Pay very close attention here if you're like under 1,000 rating or if you don't know this. Now it's a draw because the king goes here. It's my turn to move here. If I move the king anywhere, I lose the pawn. So only move is to go here, right? And now what? It's black's turn. Black can go anywhere here. And it's still a draw because my king can't come forward. Let's watch what happens. Let's say black just goes back. Let's say I try to step forward. Now remember what I said about the king being one space away. It's called opposition. So in order to maintain a draw here, black's only move is to go here because it blocks my king from going forward. The reason this is good and the reason it has a name, which is called opposition, is because the kings are directly opposed to each other and it creates this wall. That's the big thing here, is this wall between the kings. And it really affects whoever turn it is. Whoever is not moving basically owns this wall. So it's my turn to move right now, and black owns this wall. And I cannot move my king forward. Okay? And going back, we already determined going back doesn't really do anything. And if I push the pawn again, same deal. King just goes in front of it. And now I have to, once again, I can't step away from the pawn or I'll lose the pawn. So I'll go here again. And now black has to go straight back here, right? Because if they go here, it's mate and yeah. If black goes here, now I take opposition, right? And now it's black has to move, right? And now black can't just go right here. But if they go here, now what? Now I have this. Even though my king's not in front of the pawn, now you have to move. And you can't go backwards anymore because you're stuck against the wall. So you have to go here. And now I promote, Now you can't stop it. So that's why black has to go back, straight back, because now what happens, now they can go here and it's the same as last time, but it's my turn. Black has opposition, and if I do this now they can get in front of the pawn, and there's no way for me to do anything here now. If I step away, they take the pawn, right? And if I go here, stalemate. My king is blocking these squares and the pawn is blocking these squares. King can't move anywhere. It's a draw. It's stalemate. You might think, okay, I'm not going to be in a king versus pawn situation very often, but you will. If you know this, you'll see the position on the board. You'll see, okay, if I trade off these pieces and just make trade, boom, boom, then there's no more pieces left on the board and it's just king and pawn. And then Bobby taught me how to win a king and pawn endgame. I'll show you guys the correct way now because we just went over I just showed you how it's a draw, right? If it's a draw, if I do anything, like if I push this, right? This is a draw. And I'll do this fast because I'm so fast. Oh, I blundered, see? So we just saw this draw. Now we'll see the winning version, okay? Which is stepping up. Now watch what happens. Now if they try to block, if they try to go back, I step in front. Opposition, I have this wall here. It's black's turn to move. Okay, now black has to step aside or go straight back, right? Let's say they go to the side, okay? Now we go to the side over here. Incredible. Look at this. Now what? Now how do you stop the pawn here? You really can't, but they can maybe try to go here. Okay, and now just push it up, or you could go here too, because as soon as they step to the side here, you just go here. The goal, honestly, should be to get your king. Like you want it once your king is here, and you defend these 3 squares. You're just pushing the pawn up, right? Now there's nothing they can do. Getting your king onto the 7th rank here in front of the pawn and then just pushing the pawn up. But yeah, that's the most important thing to remember, is just having the king in front of the pawn and knowing what opposition means. Levy has a good video on this. That's probably how I learned it. There's so many good videos. Now that you guys know what it means, you can go learn more about it. Opposition. It's called opposition.